Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know that I advocate for this thing called nuclear families, which is basically you have the mother and father and you raise the children under the same roof. It's the idea, the social construct, marriage. For so many years, it's been great for America as a whole. But you guys know that the divorce rate is very high, but I still think that the social construct of marriage is still a very, very good thing for us as in general, as a whole. But this marriage was failing. I'm not exactly sure why it was failing, but it should never result in what happened here. Okay? Let me go ahead and get his face up on the screen so y'all can see exactly who I'm talking about. This individual that you guys see on my screen is the subject, okay? His name is Bobby McCulley, M-C-C-U-L-L-E-Y, McCulley III, who was 35 years old. He's almost my age. I'm a little bit older than him. But a St. Louis man with an apparent history of abuse. A history of abuse. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Maybe. Maybe what I've been saying for the past 3 years is true. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. We're going to talk about that demon that y'all see right there on my screen. We'll talk about her here in a moment. But a St. Louis man with an apparent history of abusing women was shot dead. Shot dead, his estranged wife and her 2 children before he abducted their 1-year-old baby, leaving it with the family, and later turning the gun on himself, because that's what cowards do. Bobby McCulley III, who was 35 years old, is accused of murdering his wife, who y'all see right there. Her name was Roseanne McCulley, who was 34 years old. Her 13-year-old son, let me get them back up on the screen. Her 13-year-old son by the name of Caden Johnson, and her 6-year-old daughter, Kaylee Brooks. Let's back that up for a moment. I'm going to read these names again. The husband's and wife's last name is McCulley. The 13-year-old boy who you see over there on the right-hand side, his last name is Johnson, Caden Johnson. The 6-year-old girl, those are beautiful kids, by the way. Beautiful kids. Her 6-year-old daughter's name is Kaylee Brooks. I don't know the little baby's name, but I'm assuming the little baby's last name is McCulley. I'm not sure exactly how much that plays into this, but I did want to point out that they have multiple last names, which could potentially point to multiple baby daddies, which could potentially point to marital troubles. You guys catch that? They could all have different dads. I'm not sure what role that plays in this, but like I said, we have to assume that they had some type of hardship in their marriage. A lot of times it's financial problems, but then you got baby mama, baby daddy drama too. That happens too, but let's keep going. So McCulley, let me let the pictures roll. McCulley allegedly shot 3 victims and then fled the scene with the couple's 1-year-old baby girl, Zoe McCulley. I told you, they have different last names. The 1-year-old baby's name is Zoe McCulley. Sparking a police manhunt for the suspect and an Amber Alert for the missing child. Now, the little baby was found, so thank goodness for that. Put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. They found the little baby, and she was found safe at a relative's home while McCulley remained at large. The infant was found, let's keep going. The suspected killer was then found dead in his mother's home Friday as police officers closed in on him. I'm going to read that part again. They found him dead at his mommy's home. There's a reason why I'm repeating that. Because mom actually has something to do with this as well. As the community reels from this murder-suicide, details have now emerged that 2 other women accused McCulley of domestic violence 5 years ago, while a friend of the victim said that she urged Roseanne to leave the house hours before she allegedly was gunned down by her husband. Police were called to the home at the 4800 block of Lockwig Trail Court around 11:30 p.m. Thursday after officers' reports of shots being fired. Officers found the body of the 3 victims inside the home and soon learned that the little baby girl Zoe had been taken. The 1-year-old is the daughter of McCulley and Roseanne, but McCulley was not the father of the 2 slain children. Bookmark that. We'll come back to it. The court records show that McCulley filed for divorce. The dad filed for divorce. The husband filed for divorce, not the mom. I want y'all to think about that for a moment. So her friend was saying, you need to leave the house and leave him alone. But he was the one who filed for divorce. Did everybody absorb that? I know this is a lot to think about right now. So she was told to leave, but he was filing the divorce. It's already getting complicated, I know. But let's keep going. Court records show that the husband filed for divorce from his wife on February the 28th, just days before the murders. County Police Lieutenant Colonel Steve Sack said at a news conference that officers had been called to the home earlier Thursday when a neighbor reported a suspicious person between the 2 homes. Sack said officers didn't find anyone and they left. Police now believe that McCulley entered the home with a weapon and held the family against their will for hours before killing them and leaving with the baby. Police said that they had been searching for McCulley early Thursday after Roseanne told them he abused her recently. A manhunt was launched to track down the suspect killer who was charged in an at-large warrant with 3 counts of first-degree murder, which means that's premeditated, meaning they're either going to give him the death penalty or life in prison, potentially with no parole, no chance of getting out. Now, they issued an Amber Alert, and the baby was found safe with relatives just before Friday around 5 a.m. The Missouri State Highway Patrol tweeted that the 1-year-old was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but that she appeared to be unharmed, so that's at least a smidgen of positivity in this story. Police officers were closing in on McCulley when he fatally shot himself in the city of St. Louis. Authorities on Friday also announced that a woman, his mother, let me see if I can get her on the screen, because this is very important. Hold on. See if I can find her. Guys, y'all got to bear with me. I got a lot of pictures in here. This individual, let me see if I can make this picture bigger. Let me see if I got a better picture. Right there. Oh my goodness. I want y'all to absorb this for a moment. On Friday, they also announced that this woman by the name of Michelle Clayton, who was 55 years old, she looked like she's 80. That is a hard 55 years. She's 50. How many of y'all believe that this woman is 55? 55 years old, old crypt keeper, face looking ass. Golly, boy, that's a hard 55 years. But I don't want y'all to feel sorry that I'm disparaging this so-called black queen, right? Because she is arrested and she's going to do prison time because she actually hid him. She was charged with a felony related to the crime. A probable cause statement said Clayton misled and lied to the police. I'm going to say that again. She misled and lied to the police, which is intent, that's intentional, to prevent the police from apprehending her son, Bobby McCully III. She's going to lie for her baby. Going to protect her family name. A spokesperson for the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney, Wesley Bell, confirmed that Clayton is McCully's mama. I could keep going with the jokes, but I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to hit the brakes on that. A friend of Roseanne told the news that she had grown increasingly concerned for her friend's safety in recent weeks and had urged her to leave her home hours before she was killed. Stephanie St. John says she spoke to Roseanne Thursday around 6:30 p.m. and told her to take the children and go somewhere, to stay somewhere, go anywhere. She said she couldn't persuade her, and so they agreed that she would call every 2 hours to check on her. St. John says she tried to contact Roseanne, who she called Rosie several times that night, but she got no response for obvious reasons. Following the tragedy, it emerged two previous women both accused McCully of domestic violence 5 years before the murders. Now, according to the news, court documents show one woman obtained a full order of protection in 2016 after he pulled a gun on her and her child and aimed it at both of them. That's on record. That's something you could have did a background check and found out, or maybe she did and maybe she just ignored that. A second woman also filed a domestic relations complaint in June of 2016 saying he threatened her mom, and sent his new girlfriend to my mother's home to fight me, which would have also been on record. Records also show that McCully pled guilty to false imprisonment charge more than a decade ago and was sentenced to 1 year probation. So that proves he has a violent history, and this is who you decided to get married to, have kids by. Why? Why is it that the thugs and criminals and violent people always get all the women? I'm just saying, if you make your bed, lay in it. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Y'all gotta forgive me. I put some actual lemon, organic lemon in my Fiji water. And this Fiji water is amazing, by the way. It's some of the most healthy water you can actually drink and buy. Let's get it.
St. Louis community shocked and saddened tonight by a man killing the mother of his baby along with two of her children. Tonight, he's also dead after kidnapping his daughter. I'm Corey Stark. Sam has the night off. That 1-year-old girl is now without her parents. And tonight, only on 4, a close friend of the victim is sharing with us the final days and text of Roseanne McCully. Russell Kinsall is here. And Russell, she says the relationship was very abusive.
Yes, it was.
Did y'all see that little baby? That is a beautiful little baby. Let me see if I can back it up just a little bit.
Stark, Sam has the night off. That 1-year-old girl is now without her parents. And tonight, only on...
Look at that baby. What is her name? Baby Zoe? Let's see if I can find her name again. Where is her name at? Zoe. Baby Zoe. That's 1-year-old baby Zoe. Zoe McCully. Beautiful little baby. I believe that he might have killed those other kids because they weren't his kids. They were not biologically his kids. They were legally his kids because he was married. He's still a punk and a jerk for doing what he did. And I don't really know what prompted him to do what he did, besides the fact that he's just a violent asshole to begin with. But man, that is a beautiful little baby. And I feel so sorry for her. She's not going to have any parents. She's not going to have any siblings. And her world has just been crushed before she even knows it. We believe that babies' lives matter. And I hope that this baby can grow up and become something great. That is a beautiful little girl.
On 4, a close friend of the victim is sharing with us the final days and text of Roseanne McCauley. Russell Kinsall is here. And Russell, she says the relationship was very abusive.
Yes, it was. Those who knew her well called her Rosie. A friend believes that she was the last person to speak to Rosie alive.
She had a lot of people that just loved her because she was such a sweet person.
Stephanie St. John said her close friend Rosie McCullough called her auntie and as a nickname called Rosie her niece. She says Rosie was private about the abuse she suffered till 2 weeks ago.
He assaulted her like really badly.
Rosie McCullough posted about her injuries after being released from the hospital. She said, he was able to stomp my chest and abdomen, so the bruising and swelling is really bad there. Her pain was so severe, she wrote that she received morphine through my IV. St. John said,
He stomped the crap out of her. Golly. Man, that is a violent dude, period. There is no excuse. And I don't want to hear people talking about, well, she was scared to get away. You shouldn't have to, and I'm going to keep saying this because I want to help protect our women in the most valuable way possible, which is to make sure that you are educated before you make a bad judgment call. You should not have to struggle to leave a bad relationship. Don't get involved in one. Do a background check and make sure that you are highly educated before you go into a circumstance like this with somebody who already had at least 2 violent incidents on record. And he pled guilty to one of them.
Says she encouraged her friend to take her kids and go stay somewhere safe.
I said, I need you to leave the house. I don't care where you go. I need you to get out of there.
Friends worried the next time would be even worse after Bobby McCullough posted this threat on Rosie's Facebook page. It said, everyone enjoy the show. More to come. Police were seeking to arrest Bobby McCullough for the domestic violence, but didn't believe he posed an imminent threat.
We had been looking for the suspect. She stayed there at the residence with her kids. There wasn't any indications to us that he was going to go back last night.
St. John said she last talked to Rosie around 6:30, but planned to check in regularly.
And I'm calling. She didn't answer. And I sent her a text message.
Around 10:30, St. John texted, answer me. The response was, busy, I will hit you back shortly. St. John wrote, girl, I was about to beat these streets. But then she realized that wasn't a normal response from Rosie. She wrote, Bobby, let my niece go. There was no response. At the time, he may have still been in the house after killing Rosie and her 13-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter.
That is a sick, sadistic individual
who took the life of her dear friend.
St. Louis is going to miss an extraordinary woman.
So St. John said she started to go to Rosie's house last night, but was talked out of it and now regrets not going.
And I'm going to tell y'all this, and shout out to the ladies who are good friends. How many of you guys can raise your hand and say that you are a good friend? Or even to my fellas, I know we got some fellas listening. And thank you to MTGVTV. If you're listening, I did get yours. Thank you very much, my friend. But how many of you guys are good friends and you would ride for your friend? Let me tell y'all this, especially if y'all are parents. Now, if y'all are grown and don't have any kids or don't have any family, if you want to go on some crash dummy missions for your friends, then by all means, y'all know what happens to the crash test dummies. You want to be a crash dummy, a crash test dummy, then feel free. Put your life in harm's way. But you got to think better, because I believe that the majority of these people got kids. They're parents. They got family. They got something that they want to live their life for, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Do not put yourself in harm's way, especially in a situation like this. What was that woman going to go do for another woman against a big grown ass, big ass, fat ass, abusive husband who's known for kicking ass. He's known for kicking ass and taking names and never being held accountable. Huh? What is another woman going to do unless she was going to go there with a gun? And then you got to think you could potentially ruin your own life if they charge you with murder if you go shoot and kill that dude. You don't do that. And I'm warning and trying to plead with you guys, don't go putting yourself in these crash dummy situations for a friend. I've done a number of stories where I've actually watched women try to go help bail these mothers out of these bad situations that they chose to put themselves in. If they make their bed, let them lay in it. You could be a friend from a distance. As a friend, you should be there to listen to her, give her some advice, and just be a listening ear. That's how you be a good friend. You don't be a good friend by go ruining your damn life.
Yeah, we've got a big new development now. The accused killer's mother has just been charged in this case. She's in a jail cell. More on that in a moment. This is the house right back here, the red one with the big white garage door. Police actually responded to 2 calls here last night. The first one around 8:30 for a suspicious person, someone going in between houses. And then came that terrible second call.
3 hours later, they received a call for shots fired. And when they responded, they found a window broken in a residence. And that's when they located the 3 victims in the residence.
Police say 34-year-old Roseanne McCauley, her 13-year-old son Caden Johnson, and daughter 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks were shot and killed, and they were held against their will prior to that. These are public photos the mother posted on social media. They lived here on Lockwig Trail near Old Halls Ferry and Redmond. Roseanne McCauley's 1-year-old daughter Zoe was missing at first. An Amber Alert was issued for her and her father, 35-year-old Bobby McCauley. He had just filed for a divorce from his wife Roseanne this week. Authorities say the mugshot you see of him is from a domestic violence arrest in 2017, but Roseanne decided not to prosecute then. They later...
I don't get how he could be the one trying to leave her. I want y'all to think about how stuck, S-T-U-C-K, how stuck that mother was on this dude that she didn't even divorce him. He divorced her. The violent husband, the dude that was known for kicking ass, had to leave her. Let me ask y'all a question, and I mean no disrespect to the family. I'm simply asking a question. Does that not signify that maybe she was a little desperate? I'm just asking a question. I mean, no disrespect, but does that not show that she might have been just a little bit desperate? Or am I just being an ass? I could be a little bit mean. Y'all have to let me know. Type something in the chat and let me know if DJ Just Jay is being just a little bit mean. If that serves no purpose in what I just said. I like to have a purpose when I speak. He kicked her ass and he left her. Just saying.
Married and had a baby daughter. McCauley's mother, Michelle Clayton of St. Louis, is now jailed for allegedly lying to police to protect her son. Police tracked his car to where she lives this morning on Clinton Street in North St. Louis near Interstate 70. Police say Bobby McCauley was in the car dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound near the house. He had dropped off the baby unharmed at a relative's house not long after the shootings. Police say there was another domestic violence complaint from Roseanne McCauley last month, and
Let me address this, and I'm glad that you guys are always being honest with me in the chat. And I know people to say that they're afraid and it's a struggle to leave, but that's why I also say don't struggle to leave, just don't get involved. I think that's by far the most helpful information, and this is how we're trying to help. In our own way, the AFC podcast, we're encouraging women not to put themselves in situations like this. Anybody could have Google searched this fool's name, Bobby McCauley III, which is very specific, found out that he had at least 2 charges and one where he had agreed to accept a sentence. You can easily Google search that, even if you had to pay for it. Make an investment. It don't cost that much to get a background check. Miss June Bennett posts the link in the chat all the time, letting you ladies know, don't get involved in these situations. You need to know who it is that you're laying down with, sleeping with, marrying, and procreating with. That is a simple level of education. Why is it that when it's critical for us to make these correct decisions for our children, we fail? And I don't know why. It just makes it seem like we don't give a shit.
Because we're actually looking for Bobby McCauley yesterday, prior to the shootings.
I think that we do care, but I think caring should be more valuable if we show it in our actions rather than just our words. I got a couple more videos to show y'all, and then we're going to wrap up.
Throughout the day, Fox 2 has spoken with neighbors, police, and the county prosecutor, and we continue to find out everything we can about this tragedy.
New tonight, we discovered this isn't McCauley's first incident of alleged abuse. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes uncovered the disturbing history.
2 previous women both made claims of domestic violence within months of each other. Court documents obtained by the Fox Files revealed 2 different women feared Bobby McCauley enough to write to the courts. In 2016, one woman obtained a full order of protection. She wrote by hand saying, "McCauley pulled a gun on me and my child and aimed it at both of us." She declined to talk to Fox 2 on camera, but wrote on social media that her continued fear leads her to carry a loaded gun wherever she goes. Also in 2016, we found another domestic relations case involving McCauley. A different woman wrote by hand. In June of 2016, we had police intervention for domestic violence. "He's come to my home, threatening my mother. He also sent his new girlfriend to my mother's home to fight me." We spoke to a relative of that woman today who said she wanted to maintain her privacy. McCauley's past also reveals abuse from more than a decade ago. When he was 23 years old, court records say he pleaded guilty to false imprisonment, which involves holding someone against their will and tampering with a victim or witness. That conviction got him a year probation in which he wore an ankle monitor. For the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.
Good evening, and first on Fox, police say a mother and 2 children who were killed were victims of domestic violence.
Yeah, and it is shaking the St. Louis community. Fox 2's Zara Barker joins us live with the warning signs of domestic violence.
Yeah, good evening. Now, the state of Missouri has the 3rd highest rate of domestic violence all across the Show Me state, and there's local organizations right here in St. Louis that are trying to prevent another victim.
Once again, a whole family has been wiped out due to domestic violence.
Tragedy unfolds with 3 lives taken too soon.
And oftentimes it's family members and friends who see these incidents before they reach our office. And we need people to point their family members or their friends to the types of resources to get them help. Or if it's already crossed that line of violence, sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable thing, which is report it to law enforcement, because, you know, maybe it might strain that relationship, but it might save someone's life too.
Police say Bobby McCauley shot and killed his wife, 34-year-old Roseanne McCauley, her 13-year-old son, Caden Johnson, and daughter, 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks. Bobby filed for divorce from Roseanne just this week. Authorities say this mugshot is from a domestic violence arrest in 2017, but Roseanne decided not to prosecute. They later married and had a daughter.
What I don't want is the community to continue to just hear this and become numb to this.
Diamond Diva Empowerment is a nonprofit organization in St. Louis dedicated to educating and empowering women and children affected by domestic violence. When they heard what happened to Roseanne and her kids, their heart broke.
I don't know her. I didn't know the young man. I didn't know her kids, but it's taken a piece of me.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline says warning signs of abuse include, but aren't limited to, preventing or discouraging you from spending time with friends, family, threatening to take away your kids, intimidating you with weapons, or destroying your home. Those with Diamond Diva says the community can help people they know before it escalates.
Keep tabs on people and be an open ear, a non-judgmental ear, so they're there to open up when they're ready.
It's a tragedy, and we have to start being a community that love each other, a community that helps each other.
And if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation, please reach out to organizations such as Diamond Diva Empowerment or contact the national hotline. That number is right here on your screen.
Or you could just not get involved with a thug. How about that for a resolution? But nobody except us seems to offer that as a solution. Don't y'all think that's a bit odd? If you find yourself in a messed up situation, reach out to us and our organization. I think the better option would be to not put yourself in jeopardy.
Good evening, and first on Fox, police.
Breaking news likely woke you up early this morning. An Amber Alert now over after a 1-year-old girl was taken overnight. She is safe this morning.
News 4's Damon Arnold is live.
To answer your question in the chat, you're asking, did he beat her up in 2017? No, that was somebody different. It was 2 other incidents, 2 other women, 2 separate incidents. So with the wife, the one that he beat up, with this one, the one that he murdered, that's the 3rd incident, probably among many beatings that she got.
In Florissant, where in just the last 10 minutes, Damon, we've learned this all started as a triple homicide.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. This morning, a 34-year-old mother and her 2 children, a 13-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl, were all found dead here in the 4800 block of, this is Lockwig Trail. Now, they were all suffering from gunshot wounds inside that residence this morning. But again, at approximately 11:32 is when the St. Louis County Police Department got that call. We do know again that the little girl has been found safe. That was about 4:40 this morning, and that's according to Missouri State Highway Patrol, who tells us that the father, 35-year-old Bobby McCulley III, took Zoe again from this scene here at 11:30. Now, you should be looking at a picture of Bobby McCulley III. Police are still looking for him right now. He's described as an African-American, about 180 pounds.
They're not looking for him. He's dead because he was a punk and he committed suicide. Now, we're going to talk about his terrible mother here in a moment. Let me play these last couple of news videos.
We begin with breaking news in North St. Louis County. A mother and 2 children killed in an overnight shooting. An Amber Alert sent to your phone early this morning has been canceled.
But that suspect in that Amber Alert and deadly triple shooting is still on the loose. Our Savannah Louie joins us live now at the scene in North St. Louis County with an update.
Yeah, Monica, Rennie, good morning to both of you. We know that little girl is okay. She's currently with other family members, transported to the hospital, receiving medical attention. But really, this is all part of a more tragic story, a triple homicide, as a woman and 2 of her children are dead this morning. Police are still investigating the scene, but all of this started shortly before 12 o'clock midnight when police responded to a call on Lockwig Trail in unincorporated St. Louis County near Florissant. They found a 34-year-old woman, a 13-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl dead in their home from apparent gunshot wounds. Shortly after, an Amber Alert was issued for a little 1-year-old girl believed to be with the suspect, her father. She was located safely and again is now with other family members at the hospital. Now, police are still searching for...
Let me take a pause real quick, and I'll address this while we're live. And I do appreciate when you guys put certain things in the chat so I could try to address them while we're live, so that way we can maybe have a little dialogue. You said, I agree. I understand you disagree with the GoFundMe and that people should have life insurance. I agree with that, but because I do that for me, but I do that for me and mine. But no one is forcing these people to give. I hear you, but nobody is forcing the government to give either. Nobody is forcing us to sign up for these handouts, but we continue to do it, right? But it's setting a bad precedent. That's what I'm trying to say. It's setting up a bad precedent for reasons like I tried to explain earlier. For every couple of people that are able to get a GoFundMe because their story ended up being really big and it brought in 3, 4, 5 million views from all of the different news stations, those people got lucky just because their story caught a proverbial fire. They got the attention. They got the money. But what about the hundreds of other people that try to follow their lead and they don't get shit? They don't get buried. And then you have a much bigger problem. I want you to think about this. As I'm not getting onto your case, but what I'm saying is that you're talking about something that a lot of people actually ask. A lot of people actually ask that, so I don't mind addressing it because not only can I address what you said, but I can address what other people are saying. I don't know if y'all have actually watched my Funeral Home Foolery. I have a series called Funeral Home Foolery that you can go into my playlist, and I want you to click it, and I want you to watch some of those disgusting videos of all of these dead people that have never been buried. I'm going to say that again. All of these dead people who have never been buried because the family didn't have money to put them in the ground. That is not the responsibility of the funeral home to continue to keep taking their resources. It's our responsibility to bury our own. Right? Everybody is not going to get their GoFundMe funded. Let's get that straight. Thank you. Somebody said, how many murders where they don't get to the media? Then what do? Anybody who has a murder story has a sad sob story that plucks on somebody's heartstrings. A lot of sad stories, the majority, if not all murder stories are sad. So what are those people supposed to do when their GoFundMes don't get funded by crowdfunding because people have to feel sad and feel motivated? If they don't feel motivated, then they're going to be what? Ass out. Get freaking life insurance. Take care of your own. The earlier you get it, the cheaper it is. Do everything that you can, whether it be saving or get a life insurance plan. So hopefully I address that maybe in a different way that might give a wider scope, a more understanding for more people. All right, let's keep going.
The suspect, Bobby McCauley III, a 35-year-old black man. He was last seen driving a 2010 silver Dodge Charger with Missouri plates ZC6 T3V near Goodfellow and Del Mar. Now, anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers immediately. That number right there on your screen, 866-371-TIPS. And again, this is a developing story. As we continue to learn more, we will continue to bring you the latest. Reporting live from North St. Louis County, Savannah Louie, 5 on your side.
As Savannah just said, we are going to be following this breaking news throughout the morning. But if you have to get out the door, be sure to have the 5.
We start with a tragic story out of North St. Louis County where a mother and her 2 children were shot and killed inside their home. The victims, Roseanne McCauley and her 2 kids, 13-year-old police tried to arrest him. Another woman, Michelle Clayton.
Oh, here's what I wanted y'all to see. I wanted y'all to hear about his decrepit crypt keeper looking mama. We need 100 more thumbs up. If y'all would, please click that thumbs up. Let me show some love. Mookie Lolo, who donated. Thank you so much. To encourage people to do something that actually doesn't cost anything, that's free, make sure y'all click that thumbs up, okay?
With family, McCauley later took his own life when police tried to arrest him. Another woman, Michelle Clayton, is facing charges in this case. A probable cause statement says she misled and lied to police, preventing McCauley's arrest.
Aiding and abetting. His own mama tried to hide him. I think she deserves half as much time in prison. So if he would have gotten 100 years, she should get 50 years, even though she's a good 87 years old in the face. She should have gotten 50 years in prison for her part. She should be done. You don't hide criminals. Like that's just wrong on so many different levels.
First at 4, a neighborhood in shock after a deadly shooting. Good afternoon to you. I'm Corey Stark. Samantha has the day off. Friends and family are grieving after a man shoots and kills the mother of his baby along with her 2 other children before taking his own life. The victims were shot to death in the family's home in North St. Louis County on Lockwood Trail near Old Halls Ferry Road. Police were called to this scene late last night, and Ray Preston has been talking with those who knew the suspect, the victims, police, and prosecutors. Ray joins us live today in Clayton.
Well, this afternoon, word going out from police and prosecutors here to anyone who may be involved in a situation that could lead to domestic violence. Please reach out and seek help. Now, we were in the neighborhood earlier today. Neighbors there described 35-year-old Bobby McCulley as standoffish. One neighbor said that he had a rather odd personality. McCulley and his wife were going through court proceedings according to...
Odd personality? He's been kicking women's asses for the past decade. Talk about an odd personality. Come on now.
Then took his infant daughter and left, which led to an Amber Alert. The baby was later found with family members unharmed.
Welcome in. We start with an update to a breaking story we've been following all morning. A mother and 2 children killed in an overnight shooting. Police
Suspected of killing a mother and her 2 children is believed to be dead. Police sources tell KSDK 5 on your side to a call on Lockwood Trail in unincorporated St. Louis County near Florissant. They found a 34-year-old woman, a 13-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl dead in their home from apparent gunshot wounds. Shortly after, authorities issued an Amber Alert for a little 1-year-old girl believed to be with that suspect, who is her father. Now, a source tells 5 on your side that child was dropped off at the with McCulley's sister around 3:30 this morning at a home in North St. Louis. Right now, that little girl is located safely, and she was taken to the hospital earlier this morning.
Now, I wonder if that sister that he dropped the baby off with, I wonder if she called police, because if she didn't, we got to do better. It don't sound like nobody was willing to tell on this dude.
Bobby
But I don't know that for a fact. I'm just throwing that out there as a speculation.
McCulley III has a history of domestic violence dating back all the way to 2015. As we continue to learn more about this developing story and investigation, we'll continue to bring you the latest updates on air, online at KSDK.com, and that 5 on your side app. Reporting live from Clayton, Savannah Louie, 5 on your side.
All right, let me give you guys my closing thoughts real quick. I have to call that out, and I got to say thank you to Don Love for giving me that message. How many of y'all are getting these stimulus checks that took that stimulus check and made an investment, paid for your children's college fund, graduation, or life insurance? Life insurance, high school, like the things that they need, like their senior trip, class jacket, class ring, graduation fees, college fund. If you are depending on that stimulus check to pay your bills and get by, then I just think that we might be using our funds incorrectly. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Let me go ahead and give y'all my closing thoughts again. Let me get his mom up on the screen real quick. That is a disgusting woman. Not only disgusting because of her actions, but she also looks disgusting. She looks like the Crypt Keeper. I don't know if y'all remember Tales from the Crypt, but that's exactly what she looks like. She looks like the urban version of the Crypt Keeper. Disgusting woman. But again, mom should have done a background check and found out that this dude had a criminal history of violence. There is no excuse to lay down with somebody who has a criminal record and you act like you didn't know. You didn't care to look it up. And you brought children into this situation and caused them hurt, harm, and danger. It's very sad that all 3 of these people lost their lives because this dude snapped. But again, it also makes it even more weird the fact that he actually was filing a divorce from her. He was going to leave her. So he kicked her behind and then was going to file a divorce against her. And to me, that sounds like somebody who might have just been a bit desperate to stay with somebody like this dude. It's a heinous, horrible situation, and know those people did not deserve this at all, especially our babies. They cannot speak for themselves, nor can they defend themselves against the tyranny of their thuggish, ruggish stepfather. I'm thankful for the little bit of positive news that the little baby survived, and we can only hope that God keeps his protective hands around that baby, and that baby can grow up and become something great. Zoe McCulley, 1 year old. Let's put a prayer hands up in the chat and hope that she can grow up and become something great. We also put a prayer hands up in the chat for the children that lost their lives in this situation. And we also feel bad for the mom that she met her demise like this. Really sad situation. But we are doing this to ourselves, and we hope that we can just continue to encourage you guys, educate you guys. If you see something, say something. There's so much we can do to prevent situations like this. To that woman, I hope she spends the rest of her life in prison. She only got about 7 or 8 more years left in her life anyway. All right? I'm DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. Babies are our priority, and we believe that babies' lives matter. Please make sure you guys share, listen, and subscribe to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. That is where our first priority is. From my heart to yours. I love you guys. Thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you for supporting what we stand for. Make sure you guys come check out our next stream, because we still have a lot more work to do. You guys have a pleasant day. Have a pleasant night, and we'll see you guys on the next stream, okay? Peace.